So in previous videos, I've talked about the SAG-AFTRA strikes for video game voice actors and how this would affect Hoyoverse. But pretty much this strike was asking for better pay and also not for video game companies to use voice actors' voices to, train AI or anything like that to eventually replace them. But in this video, we have some pretty massive news about Hoyoverse and some pretty horrible stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, which I haven't really seen anyone else talking about. Now, this situation isn't related to the strikes at all, but I thought I'd just give you a little bit of context, seeing as a lot of this news is surrounding voice actors and who voice actors voice for in gacha games. And it also shows you how much of an issue these companies are for voice actors in general. But before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy it, and also go over to Gamersubs and use my code Kazaway and get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs. And they have a really cool event going on at the moment that I definitely suggest that you guys go check out. But let's get back into the video. So there was a few posts here by Hoyoverse Japan. This is pretty much a Japanese Twitter account that posts everything to do with Hoyoverse and gacha related news. And you have to bear with me here as I'm using translate for a lot of these tweets because obviously they're all in Japanese. But there's been a series of tweets that have been really concerning, especially for Hoyoverse and Yomoholic. Now that's probably a company you've heard before. Obviously they're involved in a situation a few months ago with Zenless Zone Zero and kind of non-compete clauses. And it seems like they're back again and kind of doing the same stuff. So what this tweet says is Mihoyo's sound director and Zhongli's Chinese voice actor Peng Bo has called on Chinese voice actors on their own to refuse voice requests for erotic games such as Snowbreak. Now if you don't know, Snowbreak is a pretty big gacha game too. I think it actually came out recently. Now is the gameplay amazing? Not really. I don't think the game is anywhere near stuff like Wuthering Waves, stuff like Histaro, and all of those top games that we know. But still, it's a very popular gacha game, and for one reason, obviously that being the erotic side, people kind of like that. And it seems like this voice actor and also voice director for Mihoyo is just telling voice actors not to go voice for them, which is extremely weird, especially whenever it's another gacha game. Now we've seen a lot of gacha games, they do reuse voice actors. I mean, you can pick out quite a lot of voice actors that sound similar to another character in another gacha game, and also from stuff like anime too, which is completely normal. I mean, the voice actors are talented enough to make their voice sound different on different characters, so again, it shouldn't be an issue. But it seems like this person, part of Mihoyo, is telling them to not go and voice for Snowbreak, which again is just really weird, telling them not to work for a specific company, and it seems like they're targeting Snowbreak. Now obviously, is Snowbreak going to compete with any of their games? No, obviously it's not. Genshin Impact, Honkai Star and Zenless Zone Zero are all massive games, which I doubt Snowbreak will ever catch up to, unless they have some crazy run of updates or something like that. But again, Snowbreak is nowhere near in popularity, and it just seems weird to be attacking a smaller gacha game like this. And pretty much he said it would be embarrassing to be a voice actor for a game like this. Now obviously, he's entitled to his own opinion, but I think that actively telling Chinese voice actors to refuse voice requests for them is just completely weird, and yeah, it shouldn't be done at all. But obviously, this isn't exactly Mihoyo's fault, it's the person that works for Mihoyo. But there are actually a few more tweets which suggest that maybe this is a bigger issue. And if we go on, it says Snowbreak official announcement of 13 new Chinese voice actors. There's a rumor going around that a voice acting agency that is a subsidiary of Mihoyo that said if you join Snowbreak, we won't give you any more work, which is a lot worse than telling people not to voice for it, because obviously this guy telling people, oh, don't go voice for Snowbreak, the voice actors can just go do it. I mean, they're an adult person, they could do whatever they like. But this is way worse because it seems like a company that works for Mihoyo is actually refusing people work because they've voiced on Snowbreak, which again is extremely weird. I can get people having their own personal opinions about games and voicing on games. I mean, no one's forcing you to voice on a game and no one's forcing you not to voice in a game. But it's really weird that they're now forcing these voice actors to not work on Snowbreak and pretty much kind of destroying Snowbreak overall, because they could have the money and the opportunity to have some really nice voice actors in the game, which again I reckon would really help out their popularity. But it seems like Mihoyo and just Hoyoverse in general aren't letting these talented voice actors go over to the game, or else they could cut them out of a lot more work, which again is extremely worrying for a voice actor. And obviously you're not going to go over to Snowbreak because it's a smaller game and they're not going to offer you more money, so you're just going to stick with Mihoyo, which again is extremely bad. And no one's really talking about this, which is kind of surprising. It says on a Q&A site there was a prophet who said, I think prophet is a translation error, but it's I think they're just saying there was a person who said, watch out, all the voice actors for Snowbreak will definitely resign. So I think there's something else going on as well. I think maybe they've told some of the current voice actors in Snowbreak that maybe also voice in Mihoyo games, hey, we're not going to be giving you any more jobs unless you quit or unless you, stop working for Snowbreak, which again is extremely weird. And also apparently there's some secret account of the sound director and Zhongli's Chinese voice actor. Now obviously I don't know how involved he is with this. Is he involved completely in cutting off work from Snowbreak? Or is it just a coincidence that, their opinions lined up? But again, it gets even worse because they're not just targeting Snowbreak, they're also targeting some bigger games that could actually prove a worry for them, including Wuthering Waves. Now, it says a game commentator with 500,000 followers on the Chinese version of TikTok has complained to the official Genshin Impact account. Genshin official asked me to stop playing Wuthering Waves and instead asked me to pay him more than before, 2.5 million yen per month, and stream Genshin Impact for 2 hours every day. That's why I lost some followers. So it seems like these people are being paid off to stop playing Wuthering Waves and to start playing Genshin Impact, which is very similar to what we saw with the Yomoholic contract, you know, with the whole Zenless Zone Zero stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of people wanting to sign up to a lot of the early access stuff with Zen Zero, and Yomoholic were being like, hey, you can't actually make content on this other stuff. Obviously, this all got sorted out in the end, as a lot of people just didn't sign the contract because obviously it was super scummy. But it seems like they're doing the same to these people, and although they are a game commentator and may not be a gacha game creator, and so, you know, don't really know much about this, it's still bad that, you know, they're cutting off a lot of this advertisement towards Wuthering Waves and Snowbreak and other games like that. And it seems that Hoyoverse just want to have the large share of money over these games, and they don't want Snowbreak or Wuthering Waves to exist. Now, Wuthering Waves obviously isn't as big as games like Genshin Impact. You know, it's pretty big still. It's still a massive game and way bigger than Snowbreak. That's probably why they did tell people to stop playing Wuthering Waves, because it is somewhat of a threat to them. Because, you know, if Wuthering Waves keep making the good updates they are, and Mihoyo's keep making the bad updates that they are, we could see a point where Wuthering Waves does get bigger than, you know, Genshin Impact, because it's an older game and it's kind of falling off. But then it keeps going. There are even more tweets. I mean, there was so many here at the moment. I'll leave the exchange between the commentator and the management submitted by the commentator himself. By the way, there is also a contract between the previous distributor and Mihoyo. If the streamer is a member of another game brand, please be sure to contact Yomoholic. By the way, Yomoholic is a dummy company for Mihoyo. Of course, it also exists in Japan. So obviously, they are referring to the big contract that happened with Zenless Zone Zero. Obviously, this was a massive issue a couple of months ago, telling them that, you know, they couldn't work for other companies or other games, which again was extremely weird. And it seems like we're still getting a little bit of that, and Hoyoverse haven't really learned their lesson. And that it seems like streamers are going to have to go to Yomoholic before working with another game brand, which again is just extremely bad, because, you know, no one should have to go to a company to ask to play a game. And Hoyoverse just seem to be limiting their creators an awful lot. And then finally, it says, by the way, this company Yomoholic seems to be handing out money to leakers too, which again is kind of funny. There's this creator here, I'm not sure who they actually are, but again, it says affiliated to Yomoholic, and they are literally talking about Mualani leaks for Natlan. So yeah, it seems like Mihoyo are actually inadvertently sponsoring a lot of leaked content, which obviously they don't like because it is leaked, and they have been very known to, you know, be banning leakers and suing leakers for doing that kind of stuff. So maybe they'll catch on soon, and this creator will be dropped by Yomoholic or Mihoyo, or maybe they're doing this on purpose and there's some secret like plan to release leaks, and that Mihoyo are actually fine with it. But I doubt that's the case, and I'm sure that they just didn't do enough research, and that Yomoholic are accidentally sponsoring a, you know, leaker. But yeah, this is a pretty crazy situation overall. Obviously, there's a ton of posts out at the moment. If you want to go see them all, they are on Hoyoverse Japan's account. Obviously, you're going to have to translate them because they're all in Japanese, unless, you know, you're Japanese. But again, it seems like they're targeting a lot of smaller gacha games and also Wuthering Waves, which again, super weird. I don't know why they're doing that. And honestly, I hope that stops in the future. And although it's more expensive and stuff, I think that the only way that you should compete with other gacha games is by making your game better. I think that's the only way that you should do it, and not by limiting the amount of advertising for other people and controlling other gacha games and other gacha creators and stuff like that, because it's just really weird. And if your game's better, then it will just do better. But I think Hoyoverse know that their game isn't better, so they're just trying to, you know, block a lot of people from talking about the other competing games. So I don't know if we're going to see anything in the future from maybe some creators or maybe even Mihoyo themselves talking about this, but it seems like we're not going to see anything, and that this will just be a little bit of chatter between creators in the background. But yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments. Do you think this is a big issue in the community, or do you think this is just something that happens and that, you know, is not that big of a deal? Yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you did enjoy it, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And as I said, go over to GamersHubs, use my code KAZA. The link will be down in the description. You can get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs. And yeah, that's about all I got for this video. That's all. See ya.